Hey, it's your friendly bartender strategist, serving you a nice cold beverage of Don't Spend Your Orbs Light. It's light because it's basically the same thing, except less shouting. So I guess a little moniker I'll give the month of August is the month of saving orbs. I'm essentially declaring a state of emergency because our orbs are all in danger of being spent. And the life and death banner is pretty proof of that. Like, I released the Temptation is Too Great video, and I got a lot of feedback about people who were successfully saving orbs. That was fine and dandy. And then the morning life and death banner dropped. And I was like, uh-oh, here it comes. Sure enough, a couple hours later, when I checked my comments again, I got so many people apologizing for rolling on the life and death banner. It was funny. Mostly because I was totally expecting it. So, I'm going to be talking about more things. About maybe the psychology behind spending orbs, rolling on banners. Maybe kind of offer a couple different perspectives, maybe some tips to resist the urges for unnecessary spending. Now, I get there's people who don't care about Choose Your Legends. I understand this. You guys act like I don't, and that I'm trying to force people to do what I say. That's not the point at all. I mean, you're here watching the videos in the first place. You're listening to what I'm saying. So since you're getting this far, I'm essentially talking to you about the topic you likely want me to tell you about, or rather listen to. So if this isn't your cup of tea, you're more than welcome to not watch the video. Essentially, that's just common sense. So if what I'm saying about, like, Choose Your Legends and being patient and waiting for the banner isn't your cup of tea, and you'd rather just spend your orbs willy-nilly, have a good time, essentially play the game how it's somewhat supposed to be played, then that's totally fine. I'm not trying to force anybody, despite my aggressive demeanor and shouting in prior videos. I'm trying to get upbeat and excited. It may seem strange, but that's legitimately me in real life, too. Ask any of my friends. Fucking PP Stefan Zone. It's legitimately me. I am just a loud person. So staying on the topic of CYL, I understand that a lot of new people are on my channel now, and by the same token, nobody's gonna watch the video that I presented that's, like, way better formatted for this kind of topic. It looks much nicer, has a lot of pictures displaying what I'm actually talking about. So if you actually care about how it's being presented to you rather than just being talked about, watch my video that's called Whatever Happens, Do Not Spend Your Orbs. Otherwise, fuck it, I'm just gonna repeat myself about it, even though I generally dislike it. I dislike it when I realize that I'm doing it. Otherwise, if I'm rambling and I don't realize that I'm saying the same thing over again, then it's, I don't know, it's weird. So, I theorized that CYL banner, which stands for Choose Your Legends. Okay. I should probably talk about the basics. Choose Your Legends was a voting thing that happened before Fire Emblem Heroes even launched on mobile in the first place. You could come once a day to vote for whatever character you wanted to see show up in Fire Emblem Heroes. The winners, the #1 male and the #1 voted for female, would get an alternate costume version added to Fire Emblem Heroes at some point. apparently the voting got so popular that they decided both the number 1 and number 2 voted for characters on the male and female side would get an alternate costume. The 2 winners were Ike and Lucina. Ike from Path of Radiance, because Radiant Dawn Ike was actually number 5. So if you guys are hoping to see Radiant Dawn Ike as Choose Your Legends character, it's not going to be that version. It's going to be a different version of Path of Radiance Ike. So if you wanted that big, beefy, muscle-bound Ike, I'll have to disappoint you right there. But anyway, the runners-up were Roy and Lynn. Granted, all these characters are sword users, and that might spell trouble for the banner, because it'll make it more difficult to roll for the focus when it's only all red. However, speculation exists that I believe... Look at all those fucking Ryomas, Jesus Christ. Speculation exists, coming from me and many other like-minded people on the internet, saying that these particular characters will be showing up with different weapons. Similar how the seasonal characters have all sorts of different weapons that they normally wouldn't be using. Hence, Xander, Emblem, Lucina, Corrin. All these characters are using weapons they otherwise never did in their original games. But the theory that exists is that these Choose Your Legends characters, their costume will either be their promoted forms, or I'm hoping they'll be promoted, or the theme will be Asker and or Emblema. So they'll kind of look like Sharina and Alphonse, or maybe they'll look like Bruno and Cuntface, I forget her name. Icky Vicky. Starts with a V. Veronica, that's it. Those are good nicknames for her anyway. So it could be a mix between those two. That would be interesting. But I would like the promoted forms better. More unique, instead of following a theme. So, going by the theme of promoted forms, 3 of those 4 characters earned the ability to utilize different weapons. When Lucina promoted, she gained proficiency in Lance. When Ike promoted, well, not necessarily in Path of Radiance, but in Radiant Dawn, he gained the ability to wield axes. And the other theory is that the axe he would wield would be another legendary weapon, Irvin, his father's axe. So granted, his weapon proficiency would be coming from Radiant Dawn, but the idea still exists. Lynn would be using a bow. And Roy never gained proficiency in any other weapon, so he'd just stick with the sword. Speculation also exists that because he has dragon blood, maybe they'll give him a dragon stone. But when you think about the big picture, they also made Faye an archer, which she cannot be in her original game. So, yeah, I guess that's about it, guys. I'll save more of these topics for later. Have a good one. Don't spend your orbs.